What does it mean to play a Jewish character?
There is always a risk of making the stereotypes worse. I got stalked by probably 40 different men. We are a big part of why Hollywood exists, even though we don't run it.
Important clarification.
Important clarification.
You are an actress, that you are a painter, and you're also Jewish. Mm-hmm. What does that mean to you?
Who is it?
It's me, it's Hen.
Hen?
Hello.
Okay, I can't play. Come on in, come on
How
in.
are
Hi,
you?
hi.
Good to see you.
Nice to see you. Come into my
been a
beautiful
while.
garden.
Yeah, oh my God.
It's like our secret magical garden.
Wow.
Come on in. Hi.
Hi. How are you, Lisa?
I'm good. How you doing?
Good. Thank you so much for having us. This
Yeah.
is beautiful.
So happy to do it.
I know. Who do we have here?
This one's Action Jackson, and this lounger is Banana.
Oh, it's so cute.
They know when the camera is here. You can really feel it.
So where do we start? Tell me about Lisa. Who is Lisa?
Oh my God, that's a very broad question.
Let's go back to New
Yeah.
Jersey.
Sure.
Upbringing.
I grew up in New Jersey, in Wayne, New Jersey, which was like 20 minutes outside of the city and 1,000 miles away, thinking-wise. Very conservative area. I actually did research on my hometown and found out that in 1967, the year my family moved there, it was dubbed the home of anti-Semitism in the United States of America by the New York Times. So, you know, Jersey it's a really interesting place because it is so close to the city, but it was very, very conservative. There was a KKK bunch there. There was a Nazi group there. There was the mayor of our town when we moved there. Actually, he wasn't the mayor. He had the school board, and he was the one that said, don't vote for these two Jews for the school board because they're going to take Christmas away from you. So that's how the whole reputation started. And then he got elected mayor and was mayor for 12 years.
Oh, wow.
So it was a strange place, nice place, a lot of nice people too, but it was a very strange place. I was very eager to get out of there.
Your family were clearly aware of everything happening, but
well, my parents grew up in Brooklyn. My grandparents escaped to Eastern Europe, and I think in their minds, having grown up in the 40s, 50s, 60s, it was like that was the same everywhere, so it didn't make it at all unique. And my father was a young pediatrician, and he was able to start a practice there. And I think they grew up in the city, and they were really looking forward to being somewhere where there's lawns. And then all I wanted to do was go back to the city.
Did you experience anti-Semitism when you grew up?
I think the kind of anti-Semitism I grew up with was it wasn't language like it is today because of social media, but it was more of an understanding that being Jewish was somehow unattractive, or you were spoiled, or Jappy was a big term back then, which I always I hated it. There was sort of like an aura of shame around being Jewish. You grew up in Israel, so it's really funny because I went to Israel a number of times when I was young, but when I got there, really as a grown-up, it had really changed. It had really become sort of everyone was brown-skinned. It was so beautiful, but it was a really profound experience to realize when you're standing there that you're in the majority, which is not something that we experience at all here. So being a diaspora Jew is, I think, a very different experience. And for myself, like knowing I wanted to be an actress, I couldn't change my name because it felt like a denial of self. It felt like somebody was winning if I did that. But at the same time, I knew my name would have limitations in terms of my business. So for a while, like when I first left home and I became this like famous club kid in New York, I called myself Lisa E because I was undecided about the whole name problem. And so in a way, I was trying to be in the world without calling attention to my heritage. And then ultimately, I realized like that's not me. I don't actually know how to do that. I don't know how to, later on in my career, like all my characters became Jewish without me asking for that to happen.
Yeah,
and I couldn't figure out why.
So many of your characters are actually Jewish.
Yeah, but they didn't start off that way. Girlfriend's Guide to Divorce, my character's last name is McCarthy. So I think they were like, well, I guess we've got to figure this one out. So I guess I'm Jewy.
Yeah. Is it something about you think? That
I don't know. Like, I'm not doing it on purpose.
Is it you bringing the Jewish into the role
obviously, they're
every
like,
time?
well, I guess she's a Jew now. It's so funny.
So you move out of New Jersey at what age?
I moved out at 18 and moved into the city and was at NYU. I was studying at NYU. I met who became my best friend in that time period, this guy, James Clark, who called himself James St. James. And he was obsessed with the Warhol scene and what was left of it at that point, and sort of introduced me to this whole underground world that was so exciting to be around. Having come from a really conservative background, this was like people wearing what they wanted to wear, expressing themselves, performance art, just totally like taking everything that they wanted and putting it on the outside and breaking every rule possible. And I was just so excited to be around that kind of energy. And then at the same time, the AIDS crisis started and a lot of my friends started dying really rapidly because in the beginning there was just no help. So it was this weird moment of extreme excitement and at the same time this extreme grief. And those two things pulled at each other.
I feel like today, young people, especially in the LGBTQ community, they don't really understand how severe this was and how traumatic it was for the entire community to see your friends being
young people. You know, I was young, so like if somebody who was 30 died, they were grown up to me. But now I understand how young even they were. But we were in 3 or 4 memorial services a week. Like it was really profound. That was happening at the same time as this weird attention that I was getting in the club scene. And it ultimately culminated in this New York Times article that Maureen Dowd wrote called Lisa in Wonderland, where they followed me around for 24 hours. And thankfully, she was very kind to me. I was a kid. And because of that article, I got stalked by probably 40 different men because my phone number and my address were listed in the phone book. And I didn't have any experience with celebrity, so I didn't really know what that meant. And it was a great and scary lesson for me. It really kind of set me on a different path because I realized that celebrity is a byproduct and not a goal. And that you really have to do anything in the arts because you actually love doing it. If you're doing it for attention, then it's got a very high price. So it was very traumatizing. But because of that, I ended up writing a musical about the AIDS crisis. And then I did that at this amazing theater called La Mama in New York. And it sort of set me on a whole new path.
What does it mean to play a Jewish character? Do you feel like more responsibility doing that?
For sure. Yeah? Like keeping the faith, I love, and I had so much fun doing that part. But there is always a risk of making the stereotypes worse. In that particular movie, I am definitely 100% a horrible stereotype. But I'm not the only Jewish character in it, so it evens itself out. Same thing when I decided to, long story short, there are elements to my character's Jewish motherness that can be accused of being a stereotype. But I do my best to make sure I inhabit those characters with real human feelings and emotions and depth to the best of my ability with what I am given. I think it's really important. I think that's why Jews prefer to watch their Jewish characters played by Jews, because you know going in that person's going to have a sensitivity to what it means to be looked at in an ugly way.
Do you feel like Hollywood often misrepresents Jewish characters?
I feel like there is a typical Jewish male and a typical Jewish female, right? There's the typical Jewish male is whiny and weak and really emasculated, unscary man. Like that is the caricature that we have pushed forward to be non-threatening in the diaspora. Even though that is not the complaint about Israel.
Yes.
For women, it's this idea of pushy, spoiled,
neurotic,
Yeah, and it's, again, obviously not true, but it's what we've put out there. And I think there is an element that we can take responsibility for, because Jews started Hollywood. I mean, we are a big part of why Hollywood exists, even though we don't run it.
Important clarification.
Important clarification. I do think that there's an element of like, how do we find acceptance and become non-threatening for other people so that we can exist.
In a way, Jews have done it to ourselves. We
Right.
push those stereotypes. Maybe we were hoping that we won't be as threatening. If
We won't be noticed.
Right.
Yeah, just be funny.
Yeah, exactly.
This over here would be hilarious.
Just laugh and don't kill us,
Yeah.
please. Long story short, does not apologize for Jewish stereotypes, but I don't think it's using Jewish stereotypes in a negative way. It's just very thoughtful, even when you see those stereotypes.
Good, thank you.
To the point that even my non-Jewish partner
Yeah.
can see his mother in the Jewish mother,
Yeah.
which is really fascinating, because I see her as a Jewish mother.
Yes.
I see Naomi as a Jewish mother.
Yeah, she is, for sure.
She is.
I mean, I think that because it's so specific culturally, it allows for other cultures to recognize themselves in it. I think you get into trouble when you try to make everything generic. Then it talks to nobody. But when you really get into the specificity of a Jewish family, other people will recognize their own cultures in there. There's room for them, which is exciting. Yeah.
Well, what's the reactions that you're getting to Long Story Short?
Fantastic. It's been really, really exciting. The only complaint I have is that we've had a couple of reluctant complimentary reviews, because it'll open with, by the way, they're not going to talk about Israel in the show. And it's like, we are diaspora Jews telling a diaspora Jewish story that doesn't even get to 2023. Like, at this point in the story, it's up to 2022. And it is not our responsibility to have an answer for people. And I find that really frustrating, because we all have opinions and worries and pain and frustration, but we're still not in a position, nor should we try to offer solutions in a cartoon about a Jewish family in California in the diaspora.
It's interesting that it's often the people that push this binary of saying that they can hate Israel without hating Jews.
Right.
They also want you to speak about Israel every single moment of
Right.
every Jewish experience.
They want you to take a stand.
Right.
They want you to have back up your stand
Right.
with facts.
Right.
There's no nuance. There's no conversation.
And we can't exist without becoming this, spokespeople. But
Right.
which is not happening to any other minority group. That's really frustrating.
No, and because the expectation is being a spokesperson, there is spokespeople have like a brand. They go out with a message.
Right.
I don't have that. I have a lot of information. Some of it conflicts. It's very confusing and frustrating and sad. And I've lost friends who believe they're taking a stance that my non-conversation with them is in conflict with. It's a really weird time.
Has it been hard for you the last few years to be Jewish?
I mean, I wear my star, I wear my hostage tag. And I remember one day actually going to the cartoon, somebody said to me, "Wow, you're really making a statement." And I was like, "What statement?" Which is the statement?
Right.
I said, "Look, all this is to me is like, just know who you're speaking to and proceed from there. Like whatever that means to you." But we confronted one of our friends and just saying, just telling her how much it hurt our feelings that she didn't check in after October 7th. And the reason why I was holding her more accountable is because her whole work is social justice. And for some reason, that did not include us. She got very defensive. She got very upset at being confronted about it. This was a year and a half later. She said a few things that were really disturbing and also admitted that they were all talking about the fact that I'd been wearing my star. And I was like, what if I was wearing a cross? What a difference would that make? And she just said, well, it's the timing of it.
The timing of what?
I wasn't wearing my star, honestly, before October 7th. I've had it since I was a kid.
Yeah.
I got it in 1976 in Israel.
No, but the timing is because of the hate. So many Jews
right.
feel like they have
the timing
to...
is like, I feel it's important to represent that this is also a Jewish person. And that doesn't mean I have one opinion or another opinion, but this is also a Jewish person that's standing in front of you. So...
That's so... I'm so sorry. Do you feel isolated?
We did for a really long time. I think less so now. I just feel like I'm mostly furious and just like, fuck everybody. I think between October 7th and the election of Trump, I really started questioning my news sources because I was like an MSNBC, New York Times, left-wing person. And when Trump got elected, when first October 7th happened and October 8th, they were protesting Israel's response, even though nobody had done anything yet. So that was a real shocker. And then when Trump got elected, it felt like I missed an entire section of our country that was saying things quite loudly that were just not going into my news feed. So I've really had to force myself to simultaneously stop watching the news at all, but also read or listen to a lot of different voices from many different points of view to try to get even some sort of semblance of understanding what's happening in the world.
Did you ever feel like compelled to speak up publicly or in social media or in...
I hate social media. I absolutely hate social media. I have to use social media because of my job, right. But I don't think minds are changed on social media. I think people find the silo that agrees with them. By the way, you're not coming up in anybody's algorithm if you don't agree with them. So I think it's really dangerous. I posted an image because I was really proud because I made a double challah. I made a 5 braid with a 3 braid on top of it, which is a big deal. And it became there was a whole run about Gaza. Like, why don't you give some of it to the kids in Gaza who are starving? Like this is me at home doing this because my child has graduated college and we're having our last Shabbat before they send him off. And like, it becomes about this other thing. So we don't have to do anything. We don't have to say anything. Just being is controversial enough. And I said something stupid on social media years ago when Trump was elected the first time. And I was glib, I was angry, and I said something negative about Trump. And I got 3 months of really intense death threats. Like, we're gonna throw you in the ovens, like, we're gonna kill your children. I mean, we're artists, like, we're sensitive. So I had already learned that lesson before October 7th, and so I'm very careful with how I manage my social media, but at the same time, like, I don't want to feel stifled. I really don't know how you do it. I mean, but you sort of put yourself out there as that.
Right.
But I don't know how you manage the feelings of what it feels like to be attacked and the way people get attacked. And that is not something I know how to do. So I've decided, like, it's enough for me to just have a presence and let people know I'm thinking about them and that I stand firm as who I am with my identity out there.
You're speaking and I'm hearing also like the same concerns I have and the same feelings that I have. It's not just artists, we all are, even though I've done it for over a decade on social media and I've heard everything still. I get those death threats, they still get to me and it's still, the daily abuse and sometimes, and it's not just coming from anti-Israel people, it's also from pro-Israel people, it's also from Jews on the right.
You can't have an opinion that works for everybody.
No, I can't. And I mean, I know my lane is very middle of the, like I'm trying to find sympathy and empathy for everyone.
Right, it's radical empathy. Yeah. It's Jewish.
Yeah.
It's what we do.
Exactly, that's what
But there's no room for that conversation. That nobody's looking for that conversation.
No.
They don't believe it. They don't believe it because that's not what social media is. Social media is binary.
Right.
It's take a stand. Which flag are you showing?
Right.
Which hashtag? Like, I feel like we've all lost our mind.
But what keeps you sane?
Painting. acting, like work keeps me sane, laughing with my husband, dealing with like my dogs, just sort of like remembering to be present, remind ourselves to be here. Like you just have to constantly practice that. If you're constantly practicing being present, you can also be accused of like ignoring what's happening in the world. So it's like this weird, trying to find balance in all of it.
Painting is more than just a hobby. It's a serious endeavor for you, and you're showing in galleries around the world.
It's kind of surprising. It started during COVID, where I started painting. I started drawing and doing using magic markers, making sort of a coloring book for myself. And then I realized how much I hadn't given myself permission to actually sit with pen and paper. And I had all the time, even though I was actually working during COVID. I was doing the Kaminsky method, I was doing Lone Star, I was working quite a bit, but you still had nowhere to be. When you weren't working, you were just with your family, you were just at home. And so this retreat became really important to me, and I discovered that I had this resource. I moved my parents closer to me, and I inherited like 1,000 photographs. So I had this really interesting resource. And the images I made started getting larger and larger, and then our friends who were artists were like, why are you using magic markers? You should be painting. This is not archival. Like I was having real sort of studio visits with really amazing artists and people in the art world, and gave myself permission to take myself more seriously in that regard, and then switched to watercolors, and it kind of blossomed into this whole other world for me, which has been really wonderful.
Amazing. Can you show me some of your art?
I'd love to.
Let's go.
Come with me. Before we go into the studio, I want to show you something really cool. My dog is really mad because he knows we're about to invade what he thinks is his private room, which is actually not his room. It's not your room. It's not your room. It's my room. That is our ketubah.
Oh, wow.
I'm sure it says that my husband has to give me 2 goats and 2 zuzim before, if he ever leaves me. Yes. But I don't know, because I don't read Hebrew. This is my little space.
Beautiful stuff.
Thanks. So let's see. I don't know where to start. These are my grandfathers.
Yeah.
It's called machatunim, which is Yiddish for in-laws.
Yes.
I got yelled at on Instagram because it was an argument between machatunam or machutinam, or like the Hebrew versus the Yiddish.
Oh yeah.
Everybody was correcting me based on wherever they were coming from.
Yeah, it's like Shabbat or Shabbos, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I say Shabbos.
Yeah, I say Shabbat.
You say Shabbat.
But I accept you as the.
Thank
as
you.
Are. Yes,
Thank you.
Are part of
I
our
appreciate
family.
that. We can't fight.
Right, we can't. How do you paint it? Do you take a photo and then?
These are all from photography.
Yeah.
Sometimes I manipulate the photographs in terms of getting things in the background that I want. Obviously, sometimes I just squeeze in to a larger image and just paint what it is that I'm most interested in. I love him. He makes me happy. His name is Dave. He was an uncle. I just love how confident he is.
He is super confident.
He's really crotch forward.
Yes.
He's leading with that. It's called Hey from Dave.
Amazing.
So some are like old friends, it's a lot based on my personal collection, although I've kind of run out of my own personal collection, so I'm starting to reach out to family and friends.
You said it's been featuring galleries and museums. You have another show coming up?
2 shows coming up. One is A Hug from the Art World, which is in New York.
Right.
And that'll be in spring of 2026.
Wow.
And also the Skirball Museum, which is in Los Angeles in spring of 2026, in May.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
How is it, to discover such a talent?
It's like, have you ever had a dream where like you open a closet and you realize there's a whole other wing to your house? Have you ever had that?
No, I didn't.
That's like a common dream that I've had. That is kind of how this has felt to me, where suddenly I realized there was a whole other part to me that I had access to that I really hadn't been aware of. So it's been really exciting.
It must be amazing.
Yeah. And also in the world of Hollywood, you have so little control over what happens to you and what your career does and when you're working and when you're not working and what you can create. I've written a number of things. Sometimes they're about to go and then they fall apart, or they went to somebody else to control and they changed it, or whatever it is. This is mine. Like this, I have an idea, I follow through, I work hard, and I create it. And that's just a very, very tangible, visceral experience that I don't have in the other part of my life.
No, but I think it's truly amazing that you're able to take your family stories and putting them into a piece of art that is like this. Are you happy about
It's
that?
been, I mean, my parents, their walls are now filled with these paintings because there's some of them that were so personal. I'm very grateful to be able to keep them alive, bring them back into the world, because what is the saying? There's more than one death. There's your actual death, and then there's the death of the last person that knew you. So in a way, even without necessarily knowing who everybody is, just sort of like making their mark in the world is a nice feeling.
Like all of this is giving you the feeling of who these people are. That like it comes through it.
Thank
So
you.
It's beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah.
No, thank you for sharing this with me. This has been wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you for inviting me in and for showing us all this and just for telling us who you are. I felt a lot. I felt like I got to know who you really are. And
Thanks. I always feel like I stutter more than I speak, but I'm glad you feel that way.
No, not at all. People that know you know that you are an actress, that you are a painter, and you're also Jewish. What does that mean to you?
To me, I'm not a particularly religious person, but I really love ritual, and I love having ritual that ties me to the past and the future. I light the Shabbos candles, and I do it. I think about my ancestors. I feel like I'm like when we got married. It was very much that feeling of like this wrapping this invisible cord around everyone that came before you, and this very hopeful exercise that there will be a future, and that these kinds of things carry us into the future. So that's what it means.
It's beautiful. I love that. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.